I love many things about a Royal Caribbean cruise, but not everything they offer is necessarily rainbows and unicorns, especially when it comes to the value it provides. Our goal here at Royal Caribbean Blog is to share with you as much of the cruise experience as possible to give you an idea of what you should or shouldn't do. Most of the things Royal Caribbean offers we love, but there are a few things that I think might be a bad deal for your upcoming vacation. So, how can you avoid losing money on these duds? I've got a list of which extras are so not worth it up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Even before you step foot on a cruise ship, there are a smattering of purchases that you can make. These extras offer experiences and upgrades that are aimed at enhancing your cruise. But be warned, not everything Royal Caribbean pitches to you is necessarily worth that cost, even if it's listed as something more convenient or going to enhance your trip. So, how do you know you're not buying something that's going to end in regret? That's what I want to share with you today, since our team has tried all these things. Number one is the key. The key is advertised as a VIP pass, your fast pass, if you will, to be able to experience Royal Caribbean cruises without as much of a wait as somebody else. It seems really appealing. It allows you to get priority embarkation, internet access, a welcome aboard meal, special times at signature activities, and more. On paper, this all sounds great, but in practice, I find the key is simply not worth it because the benefits sound better than they really are. Many benefits can be obtained in a different way without having to spend extra for it, or the benefits are simply not as lucrative as it sounds. As an example, let's start with the early check-in, which is usually the biggest selling point of the key. You get to board the ship first, right? Well, if you do your online check-in exactly 45 days before your cruise, you are going to get one of the first times. And while the key people might beat you on board by a minute, you're going to be right behind them. It's really not that important as long as you get one of those early check-in times, which you can absolutely do 45 days, pull up the Royal Caribbean app, get your time, and you're good to go. How about the welcome lunch at Chops Grill? Sounds like a great idea as well, except you can also buy the Chops Grill lunch on embarkation day on your own without the key. Heck, you can buy a dining package for even more days and be able to really get much more value out of the whole thing. Those private times at the onboard activities sound like a great idea, except they're usually at only a couple of activities, not the water slides, by the way. Usually it's things like the floor rider or the rock climbing wall or maybe the zip line. The problem with this perk is that it's usually at times that are inconvenient. Either it's during dinner hours, like 4 or 5 o'clock, in which, by the way, there aren't lines for these things anyway, or they're early in the morning, like 9 a.m., 8 a.m. on a sea day, which is probably a time that you want to, sleep in. It's not available for the most important things like maybe laser tag or water slides, which develop really long lines. And of course, the key also provides reservations for shows, but you can make reservations for shows on your own via the Royal Caribbean app. Of course, the key does include internet access, but you can purchase internet access on its own, and oftentimes at a good discount if you purchase it before the cruise. There's other benefits which I think are not nearly as lucrative at all. There's priority tendering, which is nice, but it's pretty rare these days to go on a Royal Caribbean cruise that actually has tendering because most ships dock at a particular pier. Having reserved seats for the key is also nice at certain shows on the big Royal Caribbean cruise ships like the Icon or Oasis or Quantum class ships, until you read the fine print that they want you to arrive 45 minutes early to the theater, which to me kind of negates the whole point of having reserved seating in the first place. The key could be a good choice for someone who has absolutely no experience with Royal Caribbean and has no status within the company's customer loyalty program, is going to buy the internet access no matter what, and is sailing on a ship with a lot of shows they want to see. It certainly is the easy button, but I'm telling you, it's simply not worth the money. Follow some of the tips that we share here on our channel and over at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and you can get most of the perks on your own without paying for the key itself. Number 2 on my list are purchasing any toiletries on board. Unfortunately, from time to time, you might forget something that you need to bring on board your cruise, whether it's a razor or shaving cream or shampoo or maybe Tylenol. You'll be able to purchase these items on your Royal Caribbean cruise, but it's definitely not going to come cheap. It's not unheard of to pay $10 for a small bottle of Advil or $8 for a tub of toothpaste on board. And these are the travel sizes, by the way. Unfortunately, shopping options are limited while you're in the middle of the ocean. Royal Caribbean knows that desperate passengers will pay whatever the price is listed if they find themselves in need of these items. So to avoid paying high prices for basic necessities, really try to remember to pack everything in the first place. If you do forget an important toiletry item, see if you can find it at a pharmacy or a shop in port before you buy it on board. The bottom line is, while they do stock these items, they're not cheap, and they're actually terrible values. I mean, if you know the pricing of your local pharmacy versus what's on board, you're going to pay double, if not triple that. I mean, you're basically paying like the full retail price, the prices you see like on The Price is Right. They're like, who pays that price? It's usually on sale anyway. That's going to be you, so avoid that. Number 3 on the list are bus tours. So there are a variety of shore excursions you can do in almost any port you visit, right? And there are amazing things you can do and more subtle things you can do. And for a lot of people, when they're new to a particular port, they want to get like a sense of it, a taste of something. And it seems like a great idea to take a bus tour because it provides you an easy way to see the area around you. Bus tours usually just end in regret because while they do provide actually access to being able to see certain things, it's not the way that most people intend to see it. The primary problem with a bus tour is, number one, you're on a large bus with a lot of other people, so you're going to be already moving at a slower pace. Second of all, in a lot of cases, you're only going to be allowed to see these venues from the window of your bus. Now, in some cases, that's fine because some of these places are like, oh, look, it's nice passing by. But in a lot of cases, you might actually want to, stop and get out and see something, and you really can't do that. Plus, which side of the bus you're sitting on will depend on what you actually can see. And in a lot of cases, you may end up on the quote-unquote wrong side of the bus, or there's something on the other side of the bus you want to see, but you're on one side. Bus tours are attractive because they're usually priced low and offer an easy way to see an area. This is attractive to somebody who is unfamiliar with the port and might be hesitant to go on their own. But the reality is, a bus tour may leave you feeling constricted and not enough time to properly enjoy any one stop. Moreover, you may spend more time at a stop that you don't care for, but the bus tour must go to anyway. So an alternative is to forego organized tours and explore on your own, especially when your ship is visiting a city or a town. If your ship docks near downtown, you can walk on your own or even use a public transportation option to easily get around. Another option, if you're not that keen on going out on your own, is to book a smaller group tour or a private tour. Royal Caribbean sometimes offers small group tours, or you can book through a third-party provider. But Royal Caribbean's bus tours are usually not priced at a great value, and I just don't think they're worth it, and they're usually going to result in a lot of regret. Let's move over to Royal Caribbean's brand new icon of the seas and share with you one thing I think is totally not worth the money, and that is the Crown's Edge. Marketed as a mix between an obstacle course and ropes course, participants of Crown's Edge navigate a series of suspended platforms that hang off the side of the ship. At the end of the course, the platform below their feet drops, sending guests flying on a zipline over the ocean and back to the ship. Sounds like a great idea, sounds like a lot of fun, maybe exhilarating to you, not to me anyway, but some people are far less scared than I am. But the reality of this experience is that it is extremely short and pretty darn pricey. Now, when Icon of the Seas first came out, the price of this was $90 per person. That price has come down to about $45 a person. I still think that's way too much money for an experience that lasts just about 60 seconds. It's certainly a thrilling experience, there's no doubt about that, but for such a short ride, it comes with a really hefty price. Crown's Edge, given that it's charging even $50 or $45, is still not worth it because of how short the experience is, how much time it requires for you to get ready, and the lack of really being able to quote-unquote enjoy it. Before you know it, it's already over. Let's also consider that for that price, you can get a lot more bang for your buck. As an example, escape rooms, which usually cost $40 a person, last an hour. The North Star Observation Pod, which goes about for $30 for a 15-minute ride on sea days and free on ports, is going to last a lot longer than 60 seconds. Even the Ripcord by iFly, which is the indoor skydiving simulator on the Quantum class ships, costs $50 for a 2-minute ride. So that's an extra minute of time for the same price. Look, it's neat, it's cool, it's kind of a fun photo op, I get all that, but I just don't think it's really worth it, and you won't be missing out on much by truly skipping it. And number 5 on my list is the Coco Beach Club. When the Coco Beach Club opened in 2020, it was a revelation. Being able to pay a little bit more to be able to go to a reserved area that was far less crowded than the rest of the island, I kind of like this a lot. It offers an infinity pool, its own beach area, and if you'd like to, you could also rent a cabana. And some of the over-the-water cabanas, by the way, are absolutely fantastic. The amplified service, dining, and seating, it did not disappoint. And it really lived up to a lot of the hype, and I think, at the time, it was so worth it. The problem with the Coco Beach Club, and the reason why I don't think it's worth the value at all, is because the pricing has gone bananas at this place. For a day pass, which used to cost, like less than, $80 a person, you're not going to be spending like $200 to $300 a person just to get into the beach club. The over-the-water cabanas can sometimes go as much as $5,000 for one cabana. I mean, I love cabanas, and I love the food at the Coco Beach Club, and I love that infinity pool, but nothing is worth that much money. For a pair of people to go into the Coco Beach Club with just a day pass and spending almost $1,000, that's a lot. And the cabanas are ridiculous. I mean, to spend even $3,000, $4,000 for a cabana, I love cabanas, but that is just way too much money for what you get, certainly. Whether you get a day pass or you rent a cabana, drinks are not included, by the way, unless you have a drink package. So it's not like you're getting that kind of value out of it. And the food is really good, and the lack of crowds is fantastic. But demand for the Coco Beach Club has resulted in pricing really going up. The initial pricing that we saw when the Coco Beach Club first opened of $40 to $80 a person, those are way behind us. For my upcoming Icon of the Seas and Utopia of the Seas cruises, the per person price is $180. For the over-the-water cabana, it's $3,198, and for the regular Coco Beach Club beach cabana, it's $2,958. These things are nice, and I've experienced them, and I enjoyed them, but I experienced and enjoyed them when the pricing was about half of that. And at those prices, it was good, but these days, I just don't recommend the Coco Beach Club. Instead, if you want a cabana experience, I think the money is much better spent at Hideaway Beach or even one of the other cabanas located elsewhere on the island like Chill Island or even Thrill Water Park. So there's my list of 5 things that I can think off the top of my head that are not worth it to book on a Royal Caribbean cruise. I'm not saying if you book it, it's necessarily bad, but I certainly don't recommend it, and you won't see me booking them unless, of course, the pricing of these things changes. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think are the worst values out there on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and which of these do you agree or disagree with? Let me know in the comments below. While you're below our video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way, YouTube lets you know of a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.